A very good morning and welcome again to Sodo Crown Court, where everybody is waiting for the final chapter of this long, complex trial involving former Minister of Petroleum, Diezani Madueke. I've just seen the National Crime Agency, NCA, two of the officers who did the investigation, who also came to Nigeria. They just entered the court just now. We just exchanged greetings. But that's that for that. A lot happened yesterday. Yesterday was day number 4. Jury had been out since Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there was that discharge of juror number 10. Yesterday, there was a little twist in the plot. People were calling, the jurors were calling, judge started sitting from just before 11, and all that was done is just to read for them, just to tell them, welcome them back, and almost straight away to tell them, look, now you're back in business, you don't talk, and assuming your deliberation straight away, they were led to the jury room to continue with their deliberation. And then about 2 hours later, at around 12:22, we got called to the court. We got called back to court too. There was a jury note. And don't forget, 2 things make us come back to court. 2 things happen once the jury go to the jury room for deliberation. There was that jury note and everybody rushed back. Of course, we wouldn't know until we got back inside the court, but it turned out it was a jury note. And the judge read it out, jury note concerning count number 1. So the judge read out, thanked the jurors for sending that note and said, all right, on count number 1, the jurors wanted to know that does it include the shopping, the things that they had in the shopping? Was it just the Harrod shopping or other shopping? So they wanted that clarification. Remember, the judge, in sending them out, he said, all we are doing in court since Monday is just waiting, just hanging. So they wanted to clarify count number 1. Is the shopping schedule, does it include Thomas Good, Vincento Caparella, or just Harold? So the judge told them and said, look, the shopping, of course, after clarification from the counsels, what they had agreed upon, that the shopping that they were to consider for their deliberation, it wasn't just the Harold shopping, but also the shopping in Thomas Good, Roger Pope, the opticians, and Vincento Caparella, the art gallery place. And so the judge clarified that for them. And just to take you back, during the evidence trial, there was a witness. Remember, Amila came in from Arrows, was examined, gave her testimony. She was examined by the defense for Diezani. Also, Vincento Caparella, the director of the art gallery, came in. She also testified. She remembered seeing Diezani there, and she remembered that she was nice. She seemed to have a good taste for art, and that she took pictures. And she said the woman then said during her witness that, look, it is not uncommon for art lovers to take pictures. Or it's just like you going into a shop, you go into Harrods, you see things that you fancy, and then you took pictures. So when they were asking her then, that was during the evidence. Of course, there was no question yesterday, but those were the evidence probably which the jurors wanted clarification. They will have recalled that. Remember also that they had the jury bundle, they had video index, they had audio index, all supplied to them on Monday. So they needed that clarification, and that was why they wrote that, which the jury bailiff passed to the court clerk, and then, of course, the judge read it out. So those people, Roger Pope, too, Roger Pope, the optician, was part of the place that shopping was done, is part of the indictment that, these were part of the things which the Crown had said in their evidence that it was unfair advantage, which they had counted as bribery. Of course, the Ziani's defense then during the evidence, because these are the things which the jurors will remember to recall. And that was why it wasn't a surprise that they came back yesterday with the first note since Monday, wanting clarification that the shopping in this indictment, was it just the Harrod shopping, or was it shopping for other luxury goods and luxury stores? And also, if you remember also, there was that November 2013 shopping, which also was testified, which came out also during the trial as well, during the evidence and during cross-examination. Then I remember also during the cross-examination and during when the defense, Jonathan Lakelock, King's Counsel, was leading the Diezani in evidence, that the Crown had said that the November 13, 2013 shopping, which attracted a lot of attention, it was a big, huge furniture shopping, and people were excited in arrows because, when people are doing shopping, the store staff, they collect commission. And then one of those who came to court to give evidence said that they were excited because big money was being spent in that November 13. Of course, when it was time for Jonathan Laidlaw to defend a client, then to defend Diezani, she said, Diezani mentioned then that the shopping, that November 2013 shopping, it wasn't bribery, that it was for color local, and that they did that shopping because all she was doing was advice. So that evidence came out. Those are part of the things they will be considering. Remember, the judge told them, look at the evidence, only the things you had in this courtroom. Those are the things we're going to consider. So those shopping is not, it wasn't really surprising that the jury note came yesterday wanting clarification on the shopping. As soon as the judge clarified that for them and said, back to your jury room to continue your deliberation. And everybody, almost everybody, is really a tense way. You could see the support team of the defendant of Diezani, of Olatunba. Everybody is tense, looking forward. Even when we went for break yesterday, lunch break, you couldn't wait till 2 o'clock before rushing back because anything can happen in a jury trial. When the jury is out, anytime there is a note, they make the arrangement, the announcement. You don't know whether it's a verdict, whether they have got a verdict, or they just want clarification. But whatever the case, straight away, there's a flurry of action. Everybody was just rushing in. So after that jury note, they were sent back to go and continue. And there was nothing until 3:51 yesterday when the announcement came on the public address system that all parties in Alice Madueke's case back to court. Of course, we didn't know whether it was a verdict. Of course, by then it was closing, near to closing. Court closes at 4. So it was a good guess that probably it wasn't the verdict. But at the end of each day, they are officially discharged. So when we came back to court, 3:55, the judge thanked the jurors for putting in another day's work. That was day number 4. And just before sending them away, she said 2 things. Today, we're resuming 9:30 normal time, but we're not closing at 1:30 or 12:30 today. Today is going to be till 3:20. She just gave them the information. So that is assuming, but there's speculation. There are those who are thinking today is Friday. The jurors might want to put it in. After all, they have been here since January 26th. They've had the evidence. So all they needed to have been doing since Monday was just going over them. It's not anything new, but just cross-checking. They saw the witnesses, they saw people give evidence, they saw the Diezani give her evidence, they saw the cross-examination, they've seen her. So it's nothing new. Some people, that speculation is on that maybe the jurors will retire today. Nobody knows. It's completely a good guess. Nobody knows. The jurors themselves, they might want to say, let's close this thing and go and have a good bank holiday. They've been on since January 26th, but the judge reminded them yesterday, you are under no pressure. There is no deadline. Take as much time as you want. But the speculations, people are anxious. They are asking when, how long are we going to wait? How long is the jury going to back on? Nobody knows. This is day number 5. That's going to be starting in less than an hour, 9:30. The jurors are expected to be back here to resume their deliberation. We don't know by that question number 1 whether they were just starting in chronological order. There are 8 counts in all. Count number 3 and number 8, the count number 3, which is the conspiracy, which is the biggest count. We don't know whether they just started from 1, but it's probably not that. Maybe that was just we don't know whether count number 1 was just the only one they needed to finish up, but nobody knows. So there are 8 counts for them to consider. We don't know where they are, but also there is speculation, there are guesses from people that maybe they'll put this behind them today. Nobody knows. The judge doesn't know. Jury belief doesn't know. The counsel doesn't know. The defendants doesn't know. The defendants, they don't know. Nobody knows. But we are guessing. There is guess. There is speculation that they probably want to put it to bed sooner than later. But they are not under any deadline obligation. Before they went away yesterday, the judge reminded them, he said, let me just remind you, don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to yourselves as you're going home. You cannot discuss this case between yourselves as you are going home. All your deliberations must be when you come back tomorrow, which is today, when you come back as a jury. That is when you resume. So she reminded them before they left court yesterday to say, don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to yourself. Your work will resume this morning at 9:30 when all of you assemble in the jury room to continue the deliberation. But the waiting game, you can feel its tangible stress on people, especially the defendant. Though they're not saying anything, but you can see that they're just keeping it together, looking relaxed, chatting with their support team, but you can see the anxiety that they want this thing to be over. The sooner, the better, the sooner for everybody, even the jurors. We don't know how long they're going to take. If they retire today, we don't know. If they won't, but that verdict, people are waiting. It's like the lives of these 3 defendants. Definitely not like really depend on it, because we don't know. They don't know. They can't make any plan. They can't, there are things that also happened in court yesterday, which I cannot say now for legal restrictions, plans for next week, but that cannot be mentioned now because of legal restriction. But that waiting, is it going to be over before the end of today? Is it going to continue till next week? Remember, Monday is bank holiday here in the UK. There is no sitting. So if they don't retire today, if they don't return the verdict today, that means until Tuesday. But if they do, it's a long day. Like they say in politics in Westminster, one day is a long time. In boxing, in radio, they know 1 hour is long. There are more than 1 hour today. When the clock starts ticking at 9:30, all the way to 3:20, are we going to get something spectacular before then? Are we going to get something spectacular? Nobody knows. The jurors, of course, they don't talk to anybody. They can't talk to themselves once they leave this place. And if 2 of them come out at London Bridge this morning, they cannot discuss this case with themselves until they get back here to the jury room. So we are all waiting. As soon as you hear an announcement, Alice Madueke and the parties to get back to courtroom number 2, everybody rushes in, because you don't know. We only know maybe seconds before if it's a verdict or a jury note. We don't know whether they're going to have another jury note today, or when that call is made, is going to be they have a verdict. Until then, so the waiting game here, once the clock starts ticking at 9:30, you can't even go out because, like I said, once that announcement is made that the jury have reached a verdict, within 5 minutes, everybody is down to court. And that is how it is done when a jury is out like this. Once they reach the verdict, everybody comes down. The jury, 4 man or 4 woman, will stand up, and then the court clerk will ask them to say, how do you, that is the next time you're going to see the defendant standing up. But I'm going to take you through. If, for instance, they reach a verdict today, if they reach a verdict today, then the verdict is handed over, and then they come to court. The jury foreman, we don't know, like I said, they are to vote whether it's a jury foreman or a jury forewoman. We don't know who is the foreman. That probably will be known if they reach a verdict today, but nobody knows. But if, for instance, they reach a verdict today, they come to court, the foreman will stand or the forewoman will stand up, and then the clerk is going to ask them, the judge is going to ask them, have you reach a verdict? And then we say yes. And then the defendant will be asked to stand up. Say all 3 defendants in this case, then they stand up. Of course, Bishop is joining us via video link. He's probably going to stand up there as well through video link. We see him. But the defendant will stand up. That is the next time they are going to be standing up. And then they will then go through the process on count number 1. What is your verdict? How do you find the defendant? They're then going to say guilty or not guilty. So that is how it's going to pan out. But we don't know whether that is going to take place today or whether we are going to go into week number 2 of the jury being out. But today is day number 5. I can tell you that wait is tangible. You can feel it. You can really feel it that people are waiting and they want this thing to be over. Let this cloud just go away. So hopefully between now and 3:20, I'll keep you updated. But apart from that, enjoy the rest of your day. But I suspect they might want to put it to bed before the Premiership ends on Sunday, but we don't know. It's just a guesswork. Let us see whether the waiting game will end today or whether we'll be going to week number 2. And as I said earlier in the week, when you hear the jury being out, this is the real one. This is what it means when we say the jury is out. Because as they come in, nobody knows whether it's going to be the day that we're going to hear the verdict. But today, Friday, we shall see. Have a good one.